I do have some backups in case I run out of Coke and this big thing of water.
Coca-Cola, ladies and gentlemen.
Coca-Cola.
That's where the show's going to start.
I do have some backups here. I have a Tango Zeroed Thirst Trap. It's called.
Right.
It's peach, which is nice, and I also have a Tango Sour, which is watermelon flavor.
I don't think we have Tango over here, but we probably have an equivalent to Tango.
Have you ever heard about the ad campaign that Tango did in the 90s that got banned?
No.
So basically there was this thing, it was like an early 90s advert where there was this like big fat orange man that would just run around shirtless and like tap people on the side of the head, and it was like it was being spectated. It's like, oh no, he just got tangoed, and it was this orange man running around and going at people from like behind.
Yeah.
But kids started doing it, and there was like a wave of children bursting each other's eardrums by doing that. And they had to put a stop to the ad campaign because kids were blowing their ears out.
Nobody, when they wrote that ad campaign, went, "This is kind of annoying, isn't it?"
Yeah, it's an icon of British pop culture. That the Tango Man,
the
and
Tango
the ensuing
Man.
eardrums that were destroyed.
Interesting. That would have happened to me. I would have been one of those kids. Somebody tangoed. Because I was always a target. I was always the target for up until high school, and then I was just a different kind of target in high school. It wasn't physical bullying anymore.
Yeah, it was rough. School sucked.
Yeah, but we're here. We're not here to talk about those kind of things. Well, I guess we are. We always talk about those kind of things. Yeah. But this should be a very lively and fun episode, because if you're watching this on the video version of the podcast over on the YouTubes, you can see from Eddie's T-shirt what band we are doing. So welcome to the Nickelback ranking. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to fuck.
Standing in line, trying to never get in.
I wanted to fuck with the podcasters. Like, wait, it said Whitesnake. No, yeah. Yes, Whitesnake. He brought his Whitesnake T-shirt. I just brought my Whitesnake. That's it.
I too have brought the Whitesnake.
We both brought our Whitesnakes, and so. This is interesting because, like, we'll just jump right into it. Because I thought in the past that maybe I had heard more Whitesnake albums than I thought, because there are some that I look at the album covers and I go, "Oh, I know that album," but it turns out like the only one that I for sure have heard and heard multiple times all the way through is 1987, the 1987 album, because there was a whole lot that I didn't know. And so this was an interesting one for me to do, because for me, for Whitesnake, honestly, I think the first Whitesnake song I ever heard was "Is This Love?" Because that was a massive top 10 radio hit over here. Not just on rock radio, it was on the pop stations. So I remember hearing that song a lot. And I'm going to go ahead just right out of the gate and say that "Is This Love" is one of the smoothest songs in musical history. Like,
that's a love-making song.
Everything about that song, from the guitar tone to the actual songwriting to David Coverdale's vocal delivery, it is just... To me, it's always, I don't know if it was ever used in the show, but for me, it feels like a perfect song for Miami Vice after they've suffered some sort of defeat and they're driving back into the city in the car. And they're just like, contemplating shit. Tubbs is loading a gun. It's like, like the "In the Air Tonight" thing. But
better than to let you go alone.
God damn. Yeah.
Times like these. Can't make it on my own.
It's still one of those songs that, like, on TikTok and stuff, you'll see people doing like guitar covers of it. I will always stop, especially if they've nailed the tone. I'm just like, that's fucking great.
I saw a guy do one on an acoustic, and it is some of the smoothest acoustic playing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because a lot of that song relies on like the reverb and sustain and delay effects, but if you can pull that off on an acoustic, man, the panties don't just come off; they evaporate.
Yeah,
you know.
so it was that song, and then of course, "Here I Go Again," and then "Still of the Night." Those were like, and then what was the one off of the next album that was a single? Was it "Fool for Your Lovin'"? Was that the next?
Yeah. So the re-recording of "Fool for Your Lovin'."
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the other one that I knew. So then later on in life, I got the 1987 album on vinyl, and I know that album now, and now that's one that I really like. But that was really it. Like Whitesnake unfortunately got lumped in because they had white in their name. And at that point, it was Whitesnake, White Lion. What was the other one? Great White. Like Whitesnake got lumped in big time when the changeover from the 80s to the 90s happened. There was like those certain bands that were just the butts of jokes, and Whitesnake was included with those. Even though, like, you know, the more I learned about them, I was like, I don't really think it necessarily deserved that. But most of those bands didn't deserve that. I'll accept you throwing some shade at like what's that one band? I'm totally just never mind. I'm just anyway, whatever. Later day bands that went way too far with the image and doing the similar music. Those were the bands that I feel like kind of oversaturated shit and started to make things a little bit boring. But a lot of that stuff I now like. So who the fuck knows? So anyway,
it's one of those unique periods where like I completely understand why people criticize it.
Yeah.
And like label politics of the time.
Sure.
On the flip side, I love that sound.
Oh yeah.
It's
so the band I'm
otherworldly at this point.
Help me out. The band I'm thinking of does a song called "Rock and Roll is Gonna Set the Night on Fire." Who does that? Who does that?
Rock and Roll.
They have a funny name.
Gonna set the night on fire. Pretty Boy Floyd.
Pretty Boy Floyd. I feel like around that time, that's when things started to get like it was a little jokey. Like, oh, here's this other band, which led to Ugly Kid Joe naming themselves Ugly Kid Joe. There you go, a little factoid.
But if you ever want proof that 1990 was still firmly planted in the 80s, Whitesnake headlined the 1990 Monsters of Rock show.
Yeah.
Aerosmith are below them on the bill. Like,
wow.
That's crazy.
This must have been right before Pump came out then, because Pump fucking blew those motherfuckers back up.
Well, Pump had been out for a year.
Okay.
But I guess maybe because Whitesnake is a British band, maybe it was... Maybe it worked different.
And David Coverdale at that point is already an icon.
But I mean, the bill is hair metal like gold. It's like Whitesnake, Aerosmith, Poison, Choir Boys, and Thunder. So
wow,
yeah, that is a 1990 80s metal lineup. 1990-80.
So what I ended up doing was I ended up listening to Whitesnake from beginning to end, starting with album 1, going all the way up to the last one, and we decided not to include any of the David Coverdale's solo stuff, even though one of those albums is called David Coverdale's Whitesnake. But
well, it's David Coverdale's Whitesnake.
Yeah, which is even So we started off with when the band officially became known as Whitesnake with album number 1. Now, the interesting thing that I wanted to know, well, why did that happen? Why I know David Coverdale was in Mark 4 and 5 of Deep Purple. Or was it 3 and 4? He was in. They're up to fucking Mark 8 now. I think he was in 2 Marks because one of them had a different guitar player. Because Richie Blackmore left and started Rainbow, and they did Come Taste the Band, and I think that was Mark 4 or Mark 5. at that point. And then that guitar player passed away, sadly. But anyway, but I didn't know the whole story, which is what I'm regurgitating to you now, because David Coverdale came on as like the third or fourth singer of Deep Purple, and they did 3, which I think are fantastic albums with David Coverdale, especially Burn. Burn is probably my favorite Deep Purple album. But once again, I only know like maybe a handful of Deep Purple albums. They're on our list to do in the near future. But I was always like, well, did he get kicked out? Like, what happened? And so I read that, like, it wasn't that. It was that Richie Blackmore fucked off and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. They got in the new guy, who I can't remember his name, Tommy Bolin or something like that. I'm probably getting that wrong. But that guy was a complete mess on all kinds of fucking drugs and shit. So the band just kind of fell apart after they did Come Taste the Band. And so everybody went their separate ways for several years before the next mark of Deep Purple got back together, which was actually a reunion of one of the earlier marks of Deep Purple. Yeah. So, anyway, and so then David Coverdale did a couple solo albums on his own, and then eventually decided to call his band Whitesnake. But learning about the history of this band as I go through listening to the albums, it really is just David Coverdale's band. Because as soon as he was done with somebody, they were gone. It was, it wasn't. I don't think he had no qualms about that. He just wanted the strongest band he could get, and if that band wasn't successful, he was going to move on to other people. So
it's definitely. I mean, I'll say that David Coverdale definitely has more tact, I guess, than a situation like Megadeth, where Dave will be like, fucking waste of skin and life, get out of here. Yeah. Whereas, he'll be like, well, hello, this is our new bass player. He's a nice Cuban man. He's very fantastic on the instrument. But if you look at the amount of people that have been in Whitesnake, it is a long fucking list. Yeah. So,
And I mean, at the end of the day, was it a year ago or 2 years ago, David Coverdale decided to retire, and then Whitesnake is no more. So that tells you all you need to know, that it was his band, and he's just like, I'm tired. I mean, imagine he's been doing shit. He was a virtual unknown when he joined Deep Purple, but that was in 73 or something like that. And so that's a long fucking time.
Yeah,
to
50 years.
To be fronting bands and singing the way that he sings, because he has a fantastic voice. But this was interesting to get to dive into this, because I feel like there are going to be Whitesnake fans, there may be, that watch this, and I feel like I'm going to find myself going against one camp of Whitesnake fans.
Okay.
Just because I'm hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time.
Well, that's the thing. It was, especially when you're examining a discography that is pretty extensive, has distinct eras as well.
Sure.
And you're approaching most of it pretty much from an outside looking in. When you've got 50 odd years of history, and you just consume it all in one go, you're bound to have a bit of a different lens to someone who lived it the first time around,
I feel I listened to about 3 albums per setting, and went back and spot listened to stuff to kind of figure out what my ranking would be, but not for at least half of it, not an easy discography to rank. No. But we're doing all 13 albums in this episode. So even including the one that I'm pretty sure is both of our number 13s. But first off, let's talk about where Whitesnake came into your life. Was it GTA San Andreas? Or not San Andreas?
It wasn't,
Vice City.
It wasn't actually, but I completely understand why you would think that, because it sonically is the epitome of that kind of vibe. Especially 1987. But I think I was coming back from a gig with my uncle. I can't remember which band it was we went to see, but I was just getting into like the hair metal stuff. I mean, I think it may have been when we went to go see Ugly Kid Joe and Skid Row. That might have been the one. And on the way back, this song comes on, and it has this riff, and it's I think, fuck me, this is cool. What the hell is this? I have not heard this. It's like, dude, it's Whitesnake. You of all people should know about Whitesnake. And I was like, what's it? Well, I do now. And it was the greatest hits compilation. So
that's a hell of a song to get to have it kick it off, because that is a monster of a song.
Oh yeah, that song was my awakening to Whitesnake. I'd heard other Whitesnake before, like, you know, Here I Go Again, and Is This Love, and other things. So I was like, as soon as some of the songs started playing, I was like, oh, this is all the same band? Cool. And many of them are on the same album. But
yeah.
I can remember.
So many of them are on 2 albums.
yeah. Yeah, I can remember just hearing this song and just being absolutely in love with it. And it was a very short window of time between hearing that song and very quickly going and buying that album for 1987 on vinyl. And I think that may be an album I have on 3 different formats now I think about it. I think I've got vinyl, cassette, and CD.
I just have the vinyl, and it's the American version.
Yeah, it's weird. Like that. Actually, do you know what? We need to talk about something a minute. So, Whitesnake love to have different track lists for their releases.
But once again, I think David Coverdale. It may have been him and management, but there was it's always seemed like there was a strategy of like, well, these songs are going to work better in the U.S. market. Let's put them in this order, or let's release this as a single over there. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay, I will. This is how bizarre this is. Okay, so before we get into any ranking, there are 3 distinct track lists from the original release. We have the North American version, the European version, and the Bulgarian version, specific to Bulgaria. And the North American running order is so fucking weird to me. Like it's Crying in the Rain.
Yep.
Bad Boys, Still of the Night, Here I Go Again, Give Me All Your Love, Is This Love, Children of the Night, Straight for the Heart, and Don't Turn Away. Now, there's only 9 songs on the North American version.
Yeah.
European has 11 tracks, and the Bulgarian version has 10, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But my vinyl's cool because it's got an embossed cover.
So does the European one start with Still of the Night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that seems like a good starter, but like I've always heard Crying in the Rain as the starter, the intro to that album, and so it just makes sense to me. But thinking about it, I'm all like, I feel like that'd be a better later album track, but still a fucking great song. So
yeah,
so good. They made that one twice too.
It's one of those albums as well where you can tell the guitarists were very satisfied with the tone they dialed in. You can always tell when a band has nailed a guitar sound because there's lots of this going on. Like any like full neck dives where it's, you know, it's not a whammy dive, it's a you know, sliding up and down the thing, basically a stroking motion on the guitar.
Oh yeah, which was appropriate.
It is appropriate, actually, especially for this band. So
I just heard, man, to that, there's something about like guitar players who dabble in the world of hard rock or heavy metal. I think all of us experienced the first time we got to play through a distortion pedal.
Yeah,
because I remember, like, I first got my first guitar, and it was a pawn shop Aria Pro 2 fully wooden electric guitar, heavy as fuck. And then the only amp they had there was a PV keyboard amp, and I was just like, whatever, let's just, you know, because my dad agreed to get me, you know, for Christmas my guitar. This was like in '93. Something like that. Anyway, so I just remember, like, at first I'm just playing with the gain on the keyboard amp turned up, and it's like it sounds kind of lame. And so I went out and I bought an Ibanez classic metal pedal because I didn't know any better, and I was like, well, this says metal on it, gonna get this. But the first time I just went jun, 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 just the fucking E chord, jun, 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 jun. I did that for probably like for hours.
Yeah, I have the power. Yeah.
So I feel like everyone went through that the first time they got to hear that jun, 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 and you're just like, oh.
Dude, the first time I ever played a guitar with a Floyd Rose, I think I just did dive bombs for like 10 minutes, just like.
Oh my God. And then when you discover the flange, and then or when you discover is it a delay? What is it that U2 uses all the time?
Delay.
Yeah. As soon as you learn that, you're just like, well, look, I can play like every U2 song like right now. Anyway. So anyway, I'm sorry. Do we have anything else to say before we jump into it? Because we got 13 albums to do.
13. Yeah. Let's
kick it off with the Purple album, right?
Yep.
Our joint number 13.
Yeah.
The Purple album. I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. My only note just says nope.
Yeah. It's the thing is, right? The songs, they're great, but they're
re-recordings of Deep Purple songs from 2015, just so you know.
Yeah, so it's, it's Whitesnake covering Coverdale era Deep Purple songs.
Which already sounded great. No reason to do this.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the time there's no reason to redo songs, but I feel like Whitesnake is a band that broke that mold for me. So, of course, he would probably think, well, I could just redo some Purple songs, too.
Now, here's something I would have supported instead of this. If he wanted to do a Deep Purple covers album, I think it would have been interesting to hear him do...
Smoke on the Water.
Hear eras that were not his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would still be at the bottom of my list because it's a covers album. I want... Whitesnake I want to hear Whitesnake when I go to Whitesnake.
Yeah.
But it's a re-recording album of songs that already exist and sound great anyway. And to be honest, when I want 70s rock, I want it to sound like 70s rock, not
It doesn't help that production around 2015 was not great for a lot of bands, especially bands that didn't have a lot of money behind them. Which we run into with bands like this. Once you get into the 2000s, there's a varying length of period of demo quality recording.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So
yeah, there's really not a lot to say other than the fact that the songs already exist and sound better, in my opinion, in their original form. They might have had fun making this, but which at this point in their career, I mean, they don't have to listen to me, Yeah.
Plus, I feel when we talk about albums like this, I feel like a lot of them are intended for massive fans. Like if if this is your favorite band of all time, and they're like, we're coming out with a Deep Purple covers album, you're probably like, oh, that'll be fun. Like even if it doesn't stand up to like the ones that you love more than anything, as a fan, you're just going to be like, I just like when they do stuff. There's plenty of bands that I will take whatever they do. So I'm sure some people enjoyed the Purple album, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah, it's the least essential Whitesnake studio album.
Now, if he when I saw the title of this album, I'm like, wouldn't it be great if these were all Prince covers? Then that would have been way more interesting.
Dude, actually...
Or Barney the Purple Dinosaur doing Whitesnake songs.
It's just all popular Purple characters. Like, you got the Grimace on drums and shit. Spyro the Dragon on the keyboard. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
I'd pay to go see that. This might be Spyro's favorite
might be
Whitesnake album.
Might be.
But, it's just the same color as him. Anyway.
All right. Okay, let's move on. What's your number 12 Whitesnake album?
Okay, my number 12 Whitesnake album is Good to Be Bad.
Okay.
And now this for me is an era where Whitesnake are kind of this is their first one back that was meant to be a Whitesnake album, because there was, you know, the one in the late 90s called what was that called, Restless Heart. That was meant to be a David Coverdale solo album.
I feel like so many of these bands have those albums that were supposed to be a solo album, and the record company is like, come on, dude.
Nah. Yeah.
I know you think you're king shit of fuck mountain, but you're not.
King shit of fuck mountain. That's awesome.
I don't even know where that's from. It's from some movie, I'm sure, somewhere.
That's fantastic.
What's the one the quote I keep doing from my wife now, because I guess it's become a vocal stem. I think it's from Zoolander, where he's like, you think you're too cool for school, but guess what? You aren't.
That's awesome. This album to me, the thing is, I would never call any Whitesnake album like bad. You know, I don't think it's bad. I just think, considering
it's good to be bad though.
It's still good to be bad according to the re-release. It's one of those albums where it's a bit long for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that there's a theme here with the later Whitesnake albums that they do tend to go on a bit, and I feel like a band in this style, brevity is kind of on your side. But when you come out with an album, I mean, I get that it'd been a long time.
Sure.
But, I mean, most of the songs here clock in at over 5 minutes, and a lot has to happen to justify that kind of consistently long song.
Yeah.
Vibe. It also suffers from that kind of production issue that a lot of these bands ran into around this time. From to my ear, it's like they're trying to modernize it, but part of what draws me to older Whitesnake is the atmosphere that was Whitesnake.
Yeah,
in that time.
I mean, I feel like a broken record, but I've like, at this point, any album from the 1900s should remain sounding as it sounded when it came out. Yeah. Stop remixing. Don't even remaster. No reason to do it. They're fine. They were fine when they came out to release. I just think remastering now is just a way to like get extra eyes on it, and I just think that's fucking stupid. Because I've said it before. There's rarely a remastered album that I think is better than the original master. But I think even at this point, we're so removed from these classic eras of music. Mm-hmm. Preserve them as they are. It sucks to me that like that's the way these recordings are treated. Like they need to be better. Why? Do you just treat it like it's fucking? It's at this point, it's fucking history. And for me, this music, like, I think it's shitty that we live in a world that people will listen to like a piece of classical music from, you know, the 1700s or whatever the fuck it's from.
Yeah.
And treat that like it's fucking art.
Yeah.
When there were tons of different like classical composers all doing similar shit. Yeah. But that's all art. And then you get to the 80s, I'm like, well, by those calculations, we should be talking about the best of this genre, which means we should be talking about Whitesnake like it's art and preserving it as art. Whether you don't like it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
People don't go to Whitesnake 1987 and want it to be Whitesnake 2008.
Well, you know? I think some people do, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you know, yeah.
The amount of times I see comments from like younger people, they're like, the production is fucking awful, and I'm just like, it's usually on an album that sounds dated but sounds fantastic, and I'm just like, what the fuck is your problem? Why do you want all music? And I think that's how the internet has fucked up younger people, because it's a good thing because they're being introduced to all this fucking music, but at the same time they're like, why does this album from the 70s not sound exactly sonically like this Drake album from 2010?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
And the thing is, as well, like, people, I mean, I have seen some of it, but nobody's giving, you've mentioned this before, nobody's giving Citizen Kane shit for being black and white.
Yeah.
You know?
My wife.
Nobody's...
My wife has no qualms in saying, like, fuck that movie, it's in black and white, okay? Yeah. She's like, I don't have time in my life to watch a movie that's in black and white. And you know what? I'm not against that either.
My wife... Sorry, I did get that. That was
considering that my
weird.
wife is one of the smartest people I've ever met. When she says that, I'm all like, "Fuck black and white movies." You're right. Fuck those movies.
All my homies hate black and white movies.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, Good to Be Bad, Whitesnake. I mean, it's an album. It's an album that isn't bad, but it also doesn't stand out to me, especially in a discography where, you know, it's just perfectly fine.
It should be called "Good to Be Perfectly Fine."
Yeah, it's good to be all right. It's okay to be fine.
Yeah.
This album, I reckon, could be improved by shaving a minute off of every song. You would probably end up with a more refined thing. But the thing is, with these later albums and their spaced out releases, you end up with hour-plus records.
Yeah.
And it is just one of those things. I mean, I guess they're probably just thinking value for money at this point. But I still think it kind of fucks with, you know, listening to it as an album.
Yeah.
If you over, you know, I'd much rather have a shorter album more frequently that had more time given to a shorter track list.
Yeah.
You know, that's my take on the matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't stand out to me either. So that's where Good to Be Bad sits in the discography. Bada boom, bada bing. What's your number 12 thing?
So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. There are a good number of these albums that I just flat out did not like. My number 12 is Flesh and Blood from 2019, which is the final Whitesnake album. Already loses points for using a rehashed title like Flesh and Blood. I think there's like 10 albums called Flesh and Blood if you really looked it up. So that's kind of lazy. But my biggest problem with this album is that it's more of the same. That once he had come back around to, all right, I'm going to start trying to do the same kind of songs that I'm known for. And then in 2019, he puts out this album that I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of these I listen to them, you know, from streaming, and this one was like so compressed and layered in digital shit. That's all I could fucking hear. It just felt like there was a layer of digital bullshit over the entire album. And this is on like Apple Music, which they have standards when they, you know, I don't know about Spotify or other places, but I know that Apple has standards of like your music must be delivered in this format at this quality or we will reject it. And so, I mean, because I've delivered music and had to make sure that it was up to the standards. But it was more of the same. I thought that it would be, because it's the last album and it's from 2019, I thought there might be more of a throwback production style maybe, but it was just kind of, at that point, you know, this many albums, and at this point listening to 13 albums, I was just like, all right, let's wrap it up, because there's nothing interesting happening, and there's not even that interesting drive to be a big rock star anymore. It's just, let's put out some music, and you know he's not working with a producer. He's probably he has an engineer. He's probably the producer. I don't know. Because, you know, at this point, when you're somebody like David Coverdale and you've been doing it for this long, you don't need to work with a producer anymore. But you really do, guys. Yeah, it just... At this point, I was just ready for it to be over. I was just like, this is the same shit, and... if I was a huge fan, I would probably enjoy things about it, but it didn't do much for me at all. So that's my number 12, Flesh and Blood.
Okay, cool. I won't camp out on this one too long because my reasons are very similar to the previous.
Oh, okay.
So my number 11 is Forevermore.
That's also my number 11
Okay, cool.
from
So I will say-
2011.
Yep. There's a lot of 11s.
Yeah.
Lots of 11s. So this one for me, it is slightly longer than Good to Be Bad. However, I will say the song Forevermore is a very good song. I like that song.
All of these albums manage to have a song or two that I'm like, this is not bad. It's pretty good, pretty good tune.
Yeah, yeah. So the closing track, the rest of the album, though, again, it falls into that realm of, I mean, this is perfectly fine. I would have done some things a bit different if I was in charge of this.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, this is early 2010s. This is still that kind of era of, you know, the whole compressed. We need to have a little bit more of a butt rock production going on, which kind of plagued these bands, because a huge draw of these bands was the atmosphere that came with the production, the combo of the production and the songwriting. And I'm amazed that more bands didn't notice that. Like, just letting it breathe a little bit was a huge part of the 80s production. I mean, I know a lot of people like to give 80s production shit for being over the top and or maybe unnatural, but at the end of the day,
we're past
right?
that, folks. Nobody gives a shit when you say things like that, because we know you're literally just stuck with the same talking points that you were trying to do 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Simply put, you know, if I'm going to Whitesnake, it's for one of two things: 70s swaggering, boogieing blues rock, or 80s swaggering, I've got a huge cock. You know, and you know, it is those two vibes to me are Whitesnake. So when I listen to these more modern albums, Whitesnake doesn't sound as cocksure as they did, you know, because it's like, well, you know, there's modern production now, and we have to, you know, do certain things, and it's like, no, dude, just whack up the reverb, get on stage, and swing it around.
And honestly, like it's a little bit. It feels like it should be more of a throwback, because all of the goddamn album work is all like a circle that says Whitesnake somewhere. Like every single album cover at a certain point, even ones that didn't used to have that, have been reissued with a fucking circle Whitesnake logo thing on it.
Yeah.
So like every album, like I was trying to look at some of them, and some were live and some were other things. I'm just like, these all look like the same album. Like, who told them that was okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, my notes for Forevermore just say more of the same, only less interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
And at this point, like you have to remember, like, you know, because post the beginning of the 2000s, there was that like rebirth of like people wanting to listen to this 80s hard rock stuff, and so there were all these like package tours going on, and there was they got some attention again. So there's a point where a lot of these bands, I feel, were putting out albums in order to have something to promote on a tour. Like, oh, well, we're going on this tour, let's throw an album together and then let's sell it at the show, you know, whatever. It's like not that they didn't try to write good songs, but I feel like there was a push of like, look, you're going out with Poison and Slaughter or whatever, you know, and you need to have a new album. Anyway, I don't know. What's your number 10?
my number 10 is Flesh and Blood.
Okay.
Now, I agree about the production, but I really do think they leaned into that glam metal thing on this album a bit more again. And while I agree the production isn't to my tastes when it comes to this band, some of the songs, right? Some of the songs are shorter, they're tighter, they deliver better coming from this band compared to the last couple where the songs went on a little bit for me.
Yeah.
This feels from a songwriting perspective a little bit less yes, less killer, less filler, more killer.
Yep.
And they're not afraid to just get in and out on this one, and I like that about it compared to the ones previous. But I definitely. I mean, you can tell that they're an older band on this one.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun listening to this one. It's at this point where, the listening went to, okay, there were moments that like had echoes of the Whitesnake I know and love on it. And, he's always surrounded himself with shit hot players. And that's it shows on this. I think that Flesh and Blood, for me, while I agree about the production, from a song perspective, I think this is my favorite of the latest period.
Yeah.
So in terms of songs rather than sonically. So yeah.
Well, good. So we've relegated the is that the right word? All of the 2000 stuff to our bottom 4 because my number 10 is Good to Be Bad.
Okay.
From 2008. I wrote this note, and it made me laugh at the time, but I feel like it might be kind of harsh to this record label. But I wrote, once you see their albums are on Steamhammer, you know it's over.
Jesus.
Because every band of that era reaches somewhere in the 2000s where released on Steamhammer. I'm like, oh, that's when you know that there was no money coming in. It was just this label from Germany that was putting them out. I'm sure Steamhammer has put out some great stuff as well. I think they've been around for a long time. But every single one of these bands that we've done from this era, they all have a Steamhammer album, well, at least one.
Yeah.
But Good to Be Bad. The biggest problem for me was the demo sounding production quality, which is very normal for this era. He was embracing the sound they were popular for on this, and it was kind of rehashing similar sounding tunes, but in at its moments. And I got kind of bored, but at this point I was like, all right, it's cool to hear these kind of fun rock tunes again. Yeah. But at the end of the day, nothing really stuck with me. It was just like, all right, it's just one of those 2000s albums from one of these bands. So it ends up at my number 10, Good to Be Bad. Bringing us to our number 9, which literally just leaves 70s, 80s, and a little bit of 90s in there.
Yep. Well, we're gonna cross off the 90s because my number 9 is Restless Heart.
Also my number 9.
Okay, cool.
Get this shit out of here.
So, this is one of those albums where there's things I appreciate about it, but it's never going to be an album that I reach for. And you can kind of tell that this might not necessarily have been intended to be a Whitesnake release. I mean, I do get the sense that there is an effort here to try something a bit different, but at the same time, the tracks are written by David Coverdale and Adrian Vandenberg, so you are going to get a lot of Whitesnake-isms regardless. So I get why the record company would have been like, hey, maybe don't go solo and just do what your solo band has been called.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your fucking band, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is one that I wouldn't turn off if it came on, but I'd never necessarily reach for it. So what's your take on this?
I love the fact that, like, it started off having an album cover, which is just like him. It looks like he just got out of the shower. But but then, of course, they reissue it with a goddamn circle. Yeah, Whitesnake logo. My favorite thing about most of these Whitesnake album covers is that if they came out today, everyone would think it was AI.
Yeah,
because that's how boring they are. It's just.
I will say, Japan for some reason got a kick-ass album cover for this album.
Yeah,
have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now.
I've sent it to you now, and it's like why didn't you use that? And that's an actual painting.
I think because it was 97 and that kind of album cover didn't work well over in the US.
Yeah.
Because we were being stupid here in the 90s.
Well, this just goes to show that, it explains why so many of these bands did well in the Asian market during this time, because Japan just took to hair metal like that. It was like a match made in heaven for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my notes for this album, all I wrote was, I'm getting to the point where I hate getting to this point in these artists' careers. Like, once again, every one of these bands, there gets to that point where there's like the softer rock one,
the Accountant album,
and it's one of those things where like these guys are older, and you can do one of two things. You could all of a sudden make your grungy album, or you can be like, you know what, I feel like more like Don Henley, and then you kind of go like the other route. And then I wrote an uninteresting album to add to the giant pile of albums just like this, because there are a lot. And it's not just like all kinds of rock bands in the late 90s all put out these sad sack I used to be famous albums. And rarely are they good. This album has a few tracks that I was like, it's a good song, but unfortunately, bands now have this thing where we've done so many episodes of this show and so many bands of the 80s era now that it becomes like you could just do one biopic and just insert band name here for the things that they did in the 90s and the 2000s.
We did our Harder Edged Skid Row album. We did our grunge album, and then we did our
introspective adult contemporary whatever album.
Yeah.
So
and then we did our new metal album, and then
if only.
And then we did our pop punk album, and then finally we got back to doing what we started out with.
Yeah, but like I think I've said it on other episodes too. I feel for a lot of these guys because I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what it would have been like for me if I was older and I had actually been in a successful band that all of a sudden was part of a backlash.
Oh, like, dude, it would have been horrible.
I already deal with emotional and anxiety and depression and all of that kind of shit.
It's like a mass cancellation.
I don't think I would have dealt with it very well at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad I didn't have to live through that. So I feel for a lot of these guys. But
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's okay. It's a whatever album. It just didn't do anything for me.
There's that famous story, isn't there, from Janie Lane? Walking into the record company's like office, and there's a huge poster of Cherry Pie over the desk, and then like 2 years later when they go in to do Dog Eat Dog, Dirt by Alice in Chains is over the desk. And it's I mean, at the time they probably thought, wow, this Alice in Chains band kicks ass. But
that's one I may have even said this when we did the Warrant ranking. I blame fucking assholes in not only in the music industry but in everyone that jumped on the bandwagon of talking shit about these bands. Warrant made no music that deserved the shit talking. Cherry Pie is a fun song. It's not trying to be anything else than what it is. But I feel like I would have been Janie Lane. I feel like he went through some shit where he was a very fucking talented person, and then all of a sudden he's one of the main people of like, fuck that guy, and he had to become that guy, and it's not fair. Like, that's why I'm saying people just need to shut the fuck up. Like, don't hop on whatever trend hating something just because it's fun to pile on to people, because you don't know who you're hurting. And on top of that, that shit's going to come back around, and you're going to be one of those people that's like, I always liked that, and we're going to know, no, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. So anyway, Janie Lane's a huge loss for me.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you think, I mean, that really put him on a dark path.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those people already had substance abuse issues, but I think going through something like that and it never really lets up, to where like I just from my perspective, because now it's the norm to go online and there's people that their whole personality is shit talking music and movies and other shit.
How did we allow this music to happen?
Yeah.
You know?
But there's a part of me that thinks on a mass stage, that started over here where MTV and VH1 started to put out shows where they would talk shit about older music.
Yeah.
There was a famous MTV one where they showed videos that were apparently lame and they were never going to play them again, and they had Vanilla Ice on there, and Vanilla Ice freaks out and trashes the place. And my favorite thing about that is it's Chris Kattan from Saturday Night Live is there, and Vanilla Ice starts like destroying stuff, and Chris Kattan's like, Vanilla! But then it led to, like, I think it was on VH1, they had these countdowns of like the worst songs ever, and it was all these fucking like hack comedians all just talking shit about music. And most of it is songs that are just meant to be fun songs. And they're like, oh, it's so stupid. Let's make a joke about this. And I'm like, I feel like that's where it started. All of a sudden, everyone's like, look, all these people on television are saying this music is shit. And whether it was, whether any of those people meant it to be lighthearted and not so serious, they don't, even if they meant that, they don't know. Like, people are shit. Like, a large amount of people are shit. And so those people are going to latch onto that, not understand the nuances of it, and then that's going to be their whole fucking personality, and then it's going to spiral because people with that personality will get millions of views and all of a sudden get paid to act like a douchebag. And then we've literally, I mean, I'm sure it's happening over in your country too, but over here it's like, we have really fucked up.
honestly, when I really stop and examine it, these people that are like, Rat sucks because they're not, writing deep, profound stuff. It's like, nobody's going to Rat for Pink Floyd. If you do that, you're an idiot. It's just like.
But then somebody else is going to talk shit about Pink Floyd because they didn't write Slayer. Like it's just, anyway. It's that this is not going to solve anything. These conversations do not solve anything. If they need
re-educating with a fist.
If they cause one person out there to be like, yeah, you're right, I'm going to stop supporting these douchebags, then our job is done. One less person patronizing these pieces of shit. Hi.
Hello.
Where are we? Okay, what is it?
Okay! Game on! Yeah, game on!
Number 8.
Nice. My number 8. Okay, we're finally in the classic zone. So my number 8 is Trouble. And when I was listening to this album, I was like, oh man, I have sorely neglected the blues rock era of this band, because I've been listening to largely like 2 to 3 Whitesnake albums over the years. I've always had the earlier stuff, but I never really crossed paths with it because whenever I'd try and get into like a 70s band, it just ended up never being Whitesnake. But I always liked Whitesnake's mid to late 80s stuff.
Yeah.
But something this time around, I just went into it, thinking, okay, I'm going to listen to 70s Whitesnake. And as soon as it started, I thought, oh, fuck yeah. This has got a cool vibe to it, right from start to finish. It is just a lean, mean, 38-minute long, kick-ass bluesy rock album with great songs on it. I love when a band does a cover and they do something completely different with it.
Yes.
Like their version of Day Tripper.
It'll be a bit before I get there, but that cover is amazing.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they went all funky with it and used a talk box and
yes.
It's a great fucking album, dude. And honestly, on any given day, it could climb up the list. But I was just, throughout this ranking, there was like a trajectory. And I mean, I liked where it was headed. And I really like this album. And on any given day, a lot of these albums at this point could change spots entirely depending on whatever mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it in the form of a discography. So, not to give anything away about how my ranking goes from here on for a little bit. But, yeah, pretty much, it's not completely chronological, but there is there's a forward momentum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my number 8, Trouble.
Mine is not like that. And in fact, I think I was surprised at the pre hair metal era. I mean, I don't like calling it hair metal, but you know what I mean.
It comes from a place of love.
The albums pre that era, I thought I was going to like more of them than I did. And my number 8 ends up being Ready and Willing from 1980.
Okay.
Which is their third album, and this has the original version of Fool for Your Lovin' on it, which, once again, like all of these songs that were redone, I feel like they improved upon them in some way or another, which is weird.
Yeah. This breaks the mold because they redid them in a different style, and I think that's the key distinction to being able to break that rule.
Yeah. But the problem with a lot of this stuff, once you get to Ready and Willing, it's not much different than the 2 albums they've done before it, and the production all of a sudden got worse, which I wasn't really that into. But it's still enjoyable at times. All of this stuff from here on has enjoyable things about it. And I feel like Whitesnake were good at what they were doing at this point, but they literally were just treading water and doing the same shit over and over again. And I'm not a fan of the white boy boogie rock. If you're going to do that, there needs to be something that makes you stand out from the bunch. Like Aerosmith did stuff in a certain way where they stood out. They had their own stamp where you kind of knew it was them. It wasn't just Steven Tyler, it was also Joe Perry. But like most bands, and especially at this point, because like David Coverdale's a great singer, but overall the music they were doing, I feel like any number of bands could have done the same and did do the same shit. And it just gets kind of boring. Like I'm done with bluesy rock stuff, even from back then. It's got to have something that makes it stand out. But at this point, Ready and Willing, I'm like, oh, they're just literally treading water and doing a similar thing again. So it ends up at number 8 for me.
Can I just say before we carry on, my favorite version of the Whitesnake logo is the one where it is a literal snake. I think that's a really cool design choice. Like I always found that very visually appealing.
Yeah.
You know.
Honestly, I have no problem with it being used as a logo. When it's the entire album cover, that's when I'm just if you've done it once, you don't need to do it again.
Yeah. I just really like that. It kind of looks like a balloon animal almost. You know it's cool. Yeah. Not a lot of bands have that kind of like smoothness in their logo. I always found that very cool to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah. So where was I? Yes.
Number 7.
Number 7. My number 7 is Love Hunter.
Hey, that's also my number 7.
And it's also the reason that this will be demonetized.
Why is that?
The naked lady riding a snake. And enjoying it very, very much so.
Is it a full-on naked lady, or is it just a butt we're looking at there?
Well, she's nude.
She is nude, but this is art.
There's tasteful side boob too.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. This, as distasteful as some people may consider this album cover, it's very pleasing to the eye. For multiple reasons, but I like the way the snake looks. I like the color palette of this one. The logo looks cool the way it's placed. Everything about this
I like the lady.
Is everything about this should have been on a better album.
Okay.
So, but go ahead with Love Hunter from 1979.
Okay, so this one, again, it's a blues rock album, but I mean, it's great. I think they really did just take a step up in songwriting here. They kick things off with "Long Way From Home," which is a great song. There's so many. There's a coolness to early Whitesnake where it's just. They'd already established themselves as musicians, and when they rock up with an album like this, you're fully convinced, yeah, you would steal my girl. Like,
yeah,
it's they're a very assertive band in that regard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
Look at David Coverdale. Like, it's almost unfair that they gave him those looks and he could sing like that. It's just not. That's just not fair.
Have you ever seen that interview? I think from like 1989, where it's like a full-on interview, but they framed him, and he's just I'm not attracted to dudes. That is one handsome motherfucker.
Yeah.
Good lord. I mean, no wonder sexy 80s women danced on the hood of his car. Tony Katane, wasn't it?
Rest in peace, Tony Katane.
Yeah, rest in peace. I also think "We Wish You Well" is a nice closer as well, even if it is a bit short. But I feel like it accomplishes quite a lot in that 1 minute 40. Mm-hmm. But I just love this album and its vibe and its the energy of it. I also like the Whitesnake logo to be in white. I'm harping on about a logo. The music itself is very nice, and this is one of those albums where I want to hear guitars, but I also want it to have like a cool, chill vibe all the same.
Yeah,
and you get that from a lot of 70s rock. It doesn't quite have the blistering intensity of 80s metal. This is the kind of rock that I can have on and just be like, this is a good vibe. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it very much.
I really think for me, the vibe is one of the biggest selling points of this album, because I think aside from being a little bit heavier at times and maybe slower at times than the first album, overall it doesn't feel that much different to me. Still enjoyable songs and enjoyable performances, but I think it gets by on the vibe, where like it didn't. I wasn't as impressed with this album as I was with the first album, and there's fewer standout moments for me on this, and some of the songwriting on a lot of these albums is all just generic 70s filler. Like, that's the thing, is as iconic as some of their songs are, there's plenty that like you're like, wow, man, there's like 10 different versions of this song under different names by different bands.
Yeah. That is kind of the side effect of being a blues-driven band, though, isn't it? Like,
Which one? I mean, famously, if you guys remember the Led Zeppelin ranking, I gave them a lot of shit for their bluesy stuff, because once Led Zeppelin was like, oh, we're going to do something that's not blues-based, that's when they made their best music, in my opinion. Some of the blues stuff is cool, but it's nowhere near what they would do when they broke out of that mold. Anyway, Love Hunter's enjoyable. It didn't floor me. It wasn't like, I don't know. It was okay. The album cover is better than the album, in my opinion. But that brings us to number 6.
Cool. Number 6. So my number 6 is Ready and Willing.
Okay.
Now this one, I think I agree. Again, the production, I don't think it's as good as the first two, but I do find myself thinking at this point they are kind of refining what they're doing a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe at the risk of softening some edges, but at the same time they're getting closer each time to what I think the Whitesnake they would become and excel at being is in this, kind of chronology, if you will. But this version of Fall for Your Lovin', it's not my favorite, but it's a hell of an opener. And in this style,
somebody's doing a chainsaw outside. Can you hear that?
Okay, well, as long as there's no screaming accompanying it, I think you're in the clear.
Who knows? I gotta tell everyone in the neighborhood, don't do your yard work when I'm doing my podcast.
Yeah. We're gonna be here like 30 years from now. You're just, can't find him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll be. Dude, just think of how many bands we have to do. We have to be alive to do.
In 30 years, we still won't even be halfway through our list.
Yeah. The list is
It's ever going, ever growing.
The list, much like David Coverdale's Whitesnake.
Oh. Yep.
But yeah, this album again. They're refining that Whitesnake vibe. I really like the vibe of this one. I like the vibe of all of them in this era. There's really very little separating them. I just think that there's this order to which they get closer to what I think of when I think Whitesnake, and Fall for Your Lovin', and by extension the rest of the album, Ready and Willin'.
I just feel like I feel like this has become the Jackal ranking.
Yeah.
I'm a lumberjack now, baby.
Dude,
literally one song with a chainsaw, and that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe they have more with a
song.
chainsaw. Are there Jackal fans out there? Is there more than one chainsaw song?
I'm pretty sure. Now, I remember someone posted something on Reddit, and I'm pretty sure it was the frontman of Jackal, completely nude, cock and balls on display.
Yeah.
In a pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah, he was in I think Playgirl magazine.
That's fantastic.
I love
that for him.
What's his name from Winger? Kip Winger was in Playgirl as well.
Kip Winger, the guy from
Winger.
Yeah.
Well, my brain doesn't immediately think there's somebody like it's like
that's James Metallica.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm James Sheffield from Metallica.
Hi, my name is David Whitesnake from the band Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Featuring the song Whitesnake from the album Whitesnake from the year Whitesnake.
Would you like to see my white snake?
Oh, okay. So yeah, number 6, Ready and Willin'. Ready and Willie. Bada boom, bada bing.
My number 6 is Come and Get It.
More like Come and Get It.
Woo! They spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
Come and Get It from 1981. Their fourth album. It's 1980.
Featuring a snake gina.
It's 1981, and this still sounds like a 70s album. Like they could not break out of the 70s. This band has a better energy to me than Love Hunter overall. There's a few songs where I think they start to get a little more interesting with the songwriting, but mostly it's still kind of the same old rehash kind of stuff. Once again, none of these albums of this era are bad. It just got to the point where I'm like, this just isn't interesting to me. So then of course, like the cover of this one is like possibly my favorite album cover of theirs. Because it's a cool idea. It's like a glass apple with a snake wrapped up in it. And then did they purposely design the snake mouth to look like a vagina? Maybe they did.
100%.
But once again, it's got the cool Whitesnake logo. You're not wrong about that. When they moved away from this logo, well, I guess maybe it wouldn't have done really well in the 80s. But I like that. I like that album cover. Also, fun fact for connecting the worlds of Old Head. This album was Whitesnake's highest charting release in the UK, hitting number 2, but was kept off the top spot by Adam and the Ants' King of the Wild Frontier, which I became, because of Smurl on an episode of Summon Bonham, I became a fan. Not a fan of Adam Ant because I think like his solo stuff I didn't like as much, but the Adam and the Ants stuff I became a fan of. I don't like Is Kings of the Wild Frontier the one that I really like? Yeah, Kings of the Wild Frontier is such a fucking great album. Maybe one day we'll rank Adam Ant.
Cool.
But
I've actually sent you something on Messenger, by the way. It is
picture of your Whitesnake.
It is the rear cover of the album as well, which is cool because it features the same apple shattered with no snake inside as well. I always thought that was a cool creative choice. For the podcast people, I'm sorry you can't see it, but I'm showing everyone. I do like that. Overall album cover, back front presentation, A+ for me on that one. The album itself is enjoyable for that kind of thing. If that's the kind of music that I wanted, it's enjoyable. But it's nothing to write home about. It's fine. It's an enjoyable 70s rock album that came out in 1981. So on to your number 5. Well, the good news is my number 5 is Come and Get It, and I think Come and Get It is an underappreciated Whitesnake album because a lot of people will put this one below Ready and Willing, Love Hunter, Trouble, because, you know, at this point, yeah, sure, you could say it's derivative, but there are some heavy, groovy riffs on this thing. Yeah. You know, Hit and Run, Girl, you know, those are back half songs as well. I like the production on this as well. It gets a little airier a little bit, and there's a bit more space and chunkiness in the riffs. I mean, not by much. I mean, there's much heavier riffs later on, but
fun fact: produced by Martin Birch, who produced a ton of Iron Maiden albums.
Yeah,
up until Fear of the Dark, I think.
Let me have a look. Fuck me, that is a roster. Fleetwood Mac, Deep Purple.
He did Heaven and Hell.
Rainbow, Whitesnake, Black Sabbath, Maiden. Yeah, he did Killers through Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yeah,
that explains why
he did. Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, he did. Like Martin Birch did. He worked with some fucking legendary fucking bands.
Yeah, good God.
Blue Oyster Cult, did you say them? Jeff
Blue
Beck.
Damn. Jeff Beck pops his head around
Gary Moore, the guy that like can't possibly make an album cover where he doesn't look funny. Have you ever, any Gary Moore picture, I'm always like, why did they go with that picture? And it's just because he was a funny looking dude.
Well, I'm pleased to announce. Go on his wiki page right now.
They do everybody dirty on wiki, don't they?
Yeah, you looking at it right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is simultaneously doing a big old bend and
exactly what we were talking about. Yeah. He's doing one of those right now, and probably like, and he's doing a. There's something about the guitar player when you feel that shit. There's no reason to make a face like that because you're not doing anything difficult most of the time.
You look cool when you do it, though.
To this day, my favorite guitar player face from the '80s is when they act surprised when they're doing something. They're like, "Could you believe this?"
Yeah. What is going on?
Anyway, rest in peace, Gary Moore. He's been dead for a long time, but still. Every picture I see of Gary Moore, I'm all like, he looks like a dork in every photo. I can't say much. I look like a dork in every photo, but also I'm not a legendary guitar player musician. I
got a dorky smile when I.
I don't. We're not. No, you're a handsome dude. You're not. We're not the same, dude. Sorry. You're the looks of the podcast.
Yeah. Come and Get It.
Come and Get It
is good. Me likey.
My number 5, Saints and Sinners from 1982,
which is my number 4.
Oh, nice.
We can camp out here for.
My first note says, "Welcome to the '80s, Whitesnake."
Yes.
Saints and Sinners. So this is when I think these 5 albums are the 5 where I had the most fun listening to them. Saints and Sinners sounds like a rejuvenated band, which is interesting because the band was like falling apart during the making of this album. There was an entire revamping of the band happening while the album was being made. So it's weird that it's like the ending of a band, but it sounds like the beginning of a band. Not to be fair, there's still some old habits peeking through in the songwriting of these songs, but the fact that they're delivered with much more of like a fun 80s energy really helps. The song Victim of Love was the first one that I heard, and I go, okay, now this sounds like Whitesnake that I know.
Yeah.
Like that this is the first song where I go, okay, I feel like at this point they're starting to knock on the door of like, hey, this is 80s Whitesnake, let us in. And then, of course, the original Crying in the Rain is on this. Already a good song here, but I really like the 87 version of this song. It has the original version of Here I Go Again, which I think is not really even that good here. I feel like they gave the song what it needs, because like it's not fast enough here. Yeah. Everything about it. Also, the word hobo is a weird word to sing.
Like a hobo, I was born.
It's a weird. Some words do not sing well.
Yeah, hobo.
And hobo is
it's a little hokey. Yeah.
At this point, knowing the one album that I actually really knew from them, I was just like, okay, well, you can hear that there's some tweaking to go. Because I feel like on Saints and Sinners, they're still a little bit unsure of their identity, or David Coverdale is maybe a little bit unsure of exactly where he wants to go, but he kind of has these ideas. And but I feel like it's a transitional album that feels like it's transitioning to something a lot more fun and exciting and 80s sounding, which I understand, like if people, like older folk, way older than me, if you got into Whitesnake in the 70s, maybe this was the point where you're like, oh, they're going to start sucking now. I could understand that. In fact, that's really the only type of person that I'm going to let get away with not liking later 80s Whitesnake. Because other than that, there's no excuse. But Saints and Sinners is the beginning of that, but I just think overall it's a really enjoyable album. Since we're talking about album covers, this one is pretty boring. It's like that Eternal Idol one by Black Sabbath, where it's just like, God, how fucking boring.
Let's take a photo of a statue and have it on a black background, and we'll put the logo and the name on it.
Yeah,
and that's the album.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's whatever. It's not interesting to look at in any way. But it is. I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know what they were going for, but it's the album's way. In this case, the album's way better than the album cover. So Saints and Sinners is my number 5, and your number 4.
My number 4.
This is when the viewers see the album cover go boop over to your side of the screen. Yeah. That's how cool my editing is.
Oh, we've got a high budget operation going on over here. Mm-hmm. Holy fuck.
I'm the best dragger and dropper in the business.
So this album, before, I thought that, I always had it in my head that Slide It In was the transitional album. But honestly, I think this is the one where that transition begins.
Yeah.
Because they really do have one foot in the blues rock of old, and an expansion into things that they would go on to do with, like Crying in the Rain and Here I Go Again, which are living proof that if you do things quick enough and in a different style, Cranked and Ranked will forgive you for re-recording a song.
Yeah. Do you know like what now that I'm thinking about it, this album hits in this weird 80s rock area where some of it sounds like montage music. And then later Whitesnake, I don't think works as well as montage music, but so many songs on Slip of the Tongue gave me that vibe of like, this could have been in any early 80s teen sports movie, you know? We got to get ready for the big game, you know? That
Did you mean Slide It In or Slip of the Tongue?
I said Slip of the Tongue.
Yeah.
Aren't we talking about Slip of the Tongue?
Was it? No, I said Saints and Sinners. Wait.
Oh, sorry, Saints and Sinners. I'm sorry, Saints and Sinners. That's what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of S's in the top spots. Yeah, Saints and Sinners. I get that. I get that vibe.
But now that I mention it, now I'm thinking of Slip of the Tongue. I'm all like, okay, that's the other end of the of the montage music. So like Saints and Sinners is easily like early 80s teen movie.
Yeah.
And then never mind. I guess they really did, now that I'm thinking about it.
Dude, you know how we always talk about like favorite like making movies out of like ideas like that we have on the show?
Yes.
I don't know why I said all of that like that. That was like all in the wrong order. Basically, I've always thought to myself, make a note of this because I'll bring it up. I think Judgment Day was written with the plan of it being a James Bond theme.
Okay.
I think they were going for Bond theme, and honestly, I want to see a kind of tongue-in-cheek James Bond movie, but David Coverdale is 007, right?
Oh.
He's posh enough to pull it off. He's very sophisticated, very very tactful, very British. But here's the thing: he's in his like Donington 1990 outfit the entire movie, and he's like infiltrating like Cold War era Russia, and nobody is addressing the fact that he is the frontman of Whitesnake, but he is also 007.
This sounds amazing.
And Judgment Day, if you listen to Judgment Day, it literally sounds like they went, right, Kashmir, but...
Yeah.
I think they were writing a James Bond song, personally. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I think you're not wrong.
There's a lot that lines up.
Yeah.
I would like.
I'm just thinking about that idea for a movie. That just sounds amazing. We come up with so many great ideas for things that nobody's ever going to do anything with.
Well, maybe we will be able to find a David Coverdale-esque actor, doll them up enough, and make that movie happen. I want to see that happen.
All I know is that they ignore us, but then they put out another Spider-Man movie. I swear, every time I fucking turn around, there's a new Spider-Man movie. I'm all like, didn't they just put out a Spider-Man movie? I'm like, no, this one's called Spider-Man: The End of the Web Times. And I'm just like, God damn it, dude.
How many Spider-Man movies are there? Let's see. I'm going to Google it right now. How many Spider-Man movies?
Well, they started. There was one in the 80s. Wasn't it? Didn't they do a Spider-Man in the 80s that failed? That was real low budget.
I don't know. All I know is that it says there are 10 core feature films where Spider-Man is the main hero, plus several team-up and spin-off movies.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I've got severe fatigue from all of that stuff. I'm over it all. Speaking of that, I saw a really funny clip from the recent. I think is it the San Diego Comic-Con that's going on right now, and they had a panel from the people making the new Spaceballs movie, including Rick Moranis, and they did the entire joke where they said that there's a Spaceballs cinematic universe, and they mapped it out like Marvel, and some of the titles of the movies are fucking hilarious. But it's literally mapped out so it goes on for like 50 years or some shit like that. Anyway, I just think that's funny.
Fantastic.
But, yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, pretty much Saints and Sinners is the beginning of that transition from where they were to where they're going. Here I go in this direction.
Yeah. That's your number 4? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that is my number 4.
My number 4 is Slip of the Tongue.
My number 3 is Slip of the Tongue,
which is the other end of me. Now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm all like, nope. They went to late 80s montage rock on this one.
Yeah.
Now this one, this is another thing. There's like, how many bands did all of a sudden they get Steve Vai in?
Yeah.
Not just Steve Vai, but like guitar players like him. A lot of these bands are like, this one album, they got this virtuoso guitar player.
Yeah.
Slip of the Tongue is like this had to be the most stressful album that they did, because 1987 blew up fucking big time, and then all of a sudden they got to follow that up. So they're continuing that big polished rock sound, which works because this is 1989. There's a whole bunch of badass rock tunes on this with a little bit of a heavier vibe on it.
I'm pretty sure it's like it's one of the earliest uses of a 7-string as well.
Oh,
interesting. Steve Vai is playing a 7-string guitar on this album.
Interesting. But I guess I made this revelation during this album, but I wrote, sometimes it feels like older Whitesnake was influenced by the more bluesy Zeppelin, and then later stuff was influenced by the heavier and more melodic Zeppelin. Because there's a lot of Zeppelin. I mean, it makes sense that in the early 90s they did that Coverdale Page album. Because I remember around that time people were like, just let David Coverdale be the new singer of Led Zeppelin and get back together. Luckily they didn't do that. They did Coverdale Page, which was a big deal when it came out. I remember that. I was like, that was everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, as much as I have my criticisms about Robert Plant, I don't think anybody else could front Led Zeppelin. That's stupid. That's fucking silly as shit. So I think that there are really great songs on Slip of the Tongue, and overall it's a very enjoyable album because it does continue on that big rock sound that I know them for. But I feel like overall I was less surprised because like my 2 of my top 3 albums are both albums that I'd never really heard much of before, but had surprising qualities to me that made them stand out. But Slip of the Tongue feels more like an expected cool album from them.
Yeah.
With a little bit of 80s montage rock type shit. It's good though, but it's like I'm not. This is like, I don't love or hate the album cover. It's like, olden times. I've sent you a letter and I've stamped it with my wax stamp. That is a circle that says Whitesnake. It's all right. When I look at that album cover, I feel like there were tons of other album covers that looked similar. But anyway, Slip of the Tongue's fun. I don't know if you're coming into Whitesnake with a specific sound in mind, then Slip of the Tongue is fun. It's an enjoyable album, and it sounds big in 80s. So
I'm also going to go on record and be I'm going to be like the 80s metal avenger, if you will. People shit all over this album, right? And the thing is, like, people will have a go at this album and say, oh, it's garbage, it's shit, it's bad, right? Listen to 1987 and listen to this. Barring a different guitarist, what really has changed, right? Both are albums full of songs about shagging, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking deep dystopian sci-fi themes here. We're talking, what do people listen to Whitesnake for? Kicking ass and shagging, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, right, I get that you could argue that John Sykes playing had more in common with the bluesy vibes than Steve Vai's playing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, right, what is so terrible about this that isn't on 1987? I think 1987 is a better album.
I agree.
But stylistically, what really is separating these two out? I mean,
you're probably right, because I don't care about the bluesy elements.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, Steve Vai's definitely not the problem, because that guy can play anything. If your background previously is playing with Frank Zappa, I think you're pretty capable of doing anything. But you're probably right. It's probably people wanting them to hold on to like the bluesiness, but then they should have hated 87 as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things that's always baffled me, because it feels like rules for one album but not rules for another album, and I that kind of inconsistency really chaps my ass,
Yeah, I agree with you.
What's going on with you that you hate this but you're fine with 87? It just weirds me out.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into any opinions on any of these albums, so aside from I know that there are people that prefer 70s Whitesnake. That's all I know. But yeah.
Fair. Well,
anyway, number 3.
So number 3.
We forgot to do the number 9 thing on number 9, but I'll do that next time.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, tell you what. Now you've brought it up. Let's just hear it. Okay. Let's just hear it.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
All right.
That timed pretty nicely. I did not know how purple this drink was.
Hey.
That looks like that doesn't look safe for human consumption. That's got some banned food dye in it, I'm sure. So where were we?
Number 3.
Oh yeah, number 3. So Slip of the Tongue. I really love. Well, I love this album. I've never had beef with it. It's one of those albums that I feel very strongly about defending, because for some reason it gets on my nerves when people attack one album for reasons that they should attack another album for and don't. I think that this is the furthest removed that they got from the blues thing.
Yeah.
At the same time, they wrote some kick-ass songs. I mean, Slip of the Tongue, Judgment Day. In terms of like a power ballad as well, I love Now You're Gone. And there's what's that other one? Wings of the Storm. And there's also Cheap and Nasty, Kitten's Got Claws. I really like this album, and in context with what is going on in music at the time, I think it's a very, very well put together and well performed addition to that whole scene in general. I think it's an extremely well done 80s metal album. 80s metal in quotation marks, to where it's like, anything with a perm and a super strat at the time was considered metal. I mean, Heart were in metal magazines at one point, but they had songs that verged into that zone. But I'm just happy to see Ann Wilson, to be honest.
I feel like Whitesnake had heavier elements than some bands did at times. But yeah,
for sure. I mean, Judgment Day is an absolute corker. I love that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think we've pretty much covered it. Slip of the Tongue.
All right.
I feel very strongly about it. I love it.
I feel very strongly about this album. My number 3 is Trouble from 1978.
Cool.
First official album as Whitesnake. First off, great 70s production. This is one of those albums that sounds like a 70s album in the best possible way, and I wouldn't want anyone to change anything about it.
Yeah.
The thing that made this album really stand out for me is the fact that there is some of that average blues rock, hard rock stuff of the time, but there's a little progginess in this one.
There is, yeah.
And the combination of those things and the overall energy of the songs, the variety of the songwriting, the fact that some of it has a little bit of a boogie, some of it has a little bit of prog to it, and then on top of that, the fucking cover of Day Tripper is cool as fuck. Yeah. Like, I saw the name Day Tripper and I went, oh, well, this is going to be boring because it's just, I mean, we don't need a fucking beat. And as soon as I heard the beat of the song, I went, hold on a second.
Yeah. Where are they taking this?
I actually think I might like their version of Day Tripper more than the Beatles. Because Day Tripper's a great song, but hearing this version of it, I just went, oh man, they just made the song way cooler. Overall, Trouble is a fantastic 70s rock album. Like, really enjoyable songs, but doesn't rely so much on the 70s boogie blues rock stuff that it didn't bore me. It had a really nice variety of songs, and I think that I don't know why they start to shed the progginess or the more adventurous songwriting, but it's great. It's the album cover is like something that like your friend drew for you in like math class in junior high, but whatever.
Well, there's two covers. There's two covers. There's
what's the other one? Hold on,
let me
look. Oh,
you guys got a cool one.
Oh, never mind. The US cover is very nice. Looks very 70s in the color palette, but never mind. That is even the cursive Whitesnake with the what do you call those? What do you call it when the handwriting goes?
I guess would it fall under calligraphy?
Fuck, I don't know. I'll ask my wife. My wife my wife can do multiple different handwriting styles perfectly. Like she's one of those people that if she was tasked with copying somebody's handwriting, she could probably do it.
God damn, dude! I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah, I can barely write in one handwriting. You can't read. That's why I switched to doing like notes on my iPhone, because like I would write down notes on paper and be like, I don't even know what the fuck this says anymore. Anyway, Trouble's great. I really enjoyed this album a lot. And it really, like, for me not knowing a band's discography, this was a great beginning where I went, oh, am I going to be, like, really into all of this stuff? Unfortunately, I wasn't. But Trouble's a really cool start. But clearly you and I have a love for the 80s Whitesnake, because I think our top two albums are the same.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
We've had three matchups, I think.
We've had a few matchups. I really think that we're going to match up here, too. So let's just go ahead and see what your number two is.
My number two is Slide It In.
Yes, also my number two.
Yeah, this
1984.
This album is great. Like, they really lock into a groove on this one.
Yeah.
I think in large part due to the addition of John Sykes, because John Sykes joins on here, I believe. And the songs just get this kick up the ass where all of a sudden there's like a grit to them now. It's not so, honky tonk blues. We are a kick-ass hard rock band.
Yeah.
It kicks off with Gambler. You've got the obviously no subtlety at all. Slide It In. Give Me More Time. Love Ain't No Stranger is one of the best songs of the 80s. I will die on that hill. I fucking love Ain't No Stranger. Like, that's such a great song. Mm-hmm. Slow and Easy, great song. Guilty of Love.
Slow and Easy is the only one I knew from this album going into it.
Oh, man, it's great. This album is awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
love it to bits.
I really got, because I was reading about the band along the way of listening to these albums, and this was around the time that Coverdale said not only does he wants his goal is to go platinum, and his goal is to conquer America, and you can hear it in this album that they were just like we're gonna fucking we're now reaching out for, the States to love our music. And you can kind of hear that, but it has a good early 80s sound, but I really like that they kind of go even further into a pure hard rock territory. And I've heard, I read that like certain mixes of the album were apparently not good, or they didn't like them. I don't know which mix I heard, but it sounded great. I think it was the US mix that I heard.
I think what happened was the original UK one sounded like really flat.
Okay.
And the US one actually had a bit of a redo.
Okay. It sounds good.
You guys got it.
Whatever I heard sounds good.
I think they roll with the US mix going forward. I think the OG was relegated to the past.
Yeah. And I feel like they would improve upon this sound, but like this is like a really strong album. And but like I said, in '84, like what was I, 6-7 years old? I didn't know any of this album. Shut up. I didn't know any of it. I love how like we're continuing a joke that the young kids don't even do anymore.
Well, it's our civic duty to kill it dead.
Oh, okay. The six a joke that doesn't even mean anything, which is on brand for certain age of kids.
Wow.
I need to let these dogs out real quick.
We know who let the dogs out, everyone. We finally found it out. It's Old Head. We got to the bottom of that conspiracy. I can't believe it took 27 years to find out who let the dogs out. And we find out here on Cranked and Ranked today.
It was me.
We can stop asking now.
Next week, be ready for our Baja Men ranking. I don't remember what I was saying, but Slide It In's great. But like it's silly to like our joint number one, which is the 1987 album, is so iconic and well done. It's like their Thriller.
It's their 36 Chambers.
Or 36 Chambers, or just like
it's the one.
It's like the album that like, and it makes sense because like you dust off some songs that you know are great and throw updated versions on here, but on top of that you have new fucking bangers.
Yeah. And
the production is on point. I'll let you go. I don't want to jump on you in your spotlight here, but our joint number one is 1987.
It is one of the greatest rebrands in rock history.
Which is weird that it's referred to as 1987 because that's not actually the title of the album. It's just Whitesnake.
Yeah, I think that just happened to
It's like the Black Album.
Yeah, the Black Album. That sort of vibe.
Yeah.
It gets a nickname. And I mean, it's just so good. I mean, my version at least has 11 tracks and kicks off with Still of the Night, Bad Boys, Give Me All Your Love, Looking for Love. I don't even care that there's 3 songs on here with love in the title. They're all that fucking good. Yeah, Crying in the Rain, Is This Love, Straight for the Heart, Don't Turn Away, Children of the Night, Here I Go Again, You're Gonna Break My Heart Again. And there's some like speed metal on this album as well. Bad Boys, Children of the Night, You're Gonna Break My Heart Again. They're all speedy fucking metal songs.
Yeah.
Really. Compared to what they were doing before. There's even double kick on it, which, I love me some going on.
Am I wrong in that this album, the people that play on this album aren't actually in the music videos? You swapped out the band after it was recorded.
Yeah, let me pull up the personnel. Where is it? So, where is it? Personnel. Whitesnake, David Coverdale, John Sykes, Neil Murray, and Ainsley Dunbar.
That's a hell of a fucking name, Ainsley Dunbar.
Yeah. So
add that to our list. Our fans are now going to be known as the Ainsley Dunbars.
So, yeah. Well, as well, they also had Don Airy on keyboards, Bill Cuomo keyboards, Adrian Vandenberg, he does the guitar solo on Here I Go Again 87. Dan Huff does guitar on Here I Go Again. I'm pretty sure this was recorded over the span of an entire year as well, so they had a long time making this.
Ainsley Dunbar played with Frank Zappa, Jeff Beck, Journey, Jefferson Starship, Niles Lofgren. I'm trying to look for other names that stand out. Lou Reed, David Bowie, Whitesnake, Sammy Hagar, Michael Schenker, UFO, Jakey Lee, other people. He's still alive. What's up, Ainsley Dunbar?
I'm pretty sure Vivian Campbell was on this as well, right? Yeah. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. So I'm gonna look up list of Whitesnake members.
Yeah, Vivian. He joined. He's in the music videos.
Yeah. So we've got here. Okay. So here we go. So the lineup.
This says David Coverdale, John Sykes, Neil Murray, Ainsley Dunbar.
Yeah, but when we get to the music video era, you've got David Coverdale, Adrian Vandenberg, Vivian Campbell, Rudy Sarzo, and Tommy Aldridge.
Yeah.
Did the live touring stuff.
Here's another great name, Tommy Funderburk.
Oh, dude, what a fucking name. That's ace. Nice. And you've got it's great. It's fantastically done. It's honestly a perfect 80s rock album.
I would agree with that.
I truly think if you're going into it expecting 80s rock and all of the hallmarks of it, especially by the late 80s standard, this is everything about this is right. It's the planets aligning to make an album of this type.
Which is interesting because it feels like reading about the making of this album, everything surrounding the album is a complete mess, and it ends up putting out this pretty much perfect 80s rock album.
Yeah. Oh, something we need to discuss as well is the two different versions of Here I Go Again.
Here I Go Again, yeah.
So, how do you feel about the radio version compared to the studio?
I don't like it as much because that's not the one that I heard. The one that I always heard is in the MTV music video, which is not the one with the loud keyboard stuff all through it, right?
Yeah, I like both for different reasons. I will say that when I listen to the album version, I do kind of miss the do 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 do. I always kind of liked that little thing.
Yeah.
But I get why people don't like that version.
Also, doesn't the radio version not have the same beginning? It doesn't begin the same way.
Yeah, it just goes ding 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 ding. Yeah, so it starts completely differently, and it's got different guitar solo.
The iconic beginning of that.
Yeah,
you can't change that.
I don't know where I'm going. Yeah. That's the best version, in my opinion. The album version, though.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, because really, the album that I know is whatever the '87 U.S. version is. That's what I know. That's whatever it sounds like. I'm to continue off what you're saying. This is an amazing album. Production is big and loud in '80s in all the best ways. I feel like we've gone way past the point where people should still be acting like this isn't a good album. I think that at this point it's just performative to be saying that these albums suck because
please think I'm cool.
They're now like relics of a time that's not going to happen again. The everything surrounding these albums, the production style, what was going on in the world of music and fashion and whatever, all those things had to align for a lot of this music to happen. And for me, being removed from it now, I find it weird that people don't just enjoy it. Like nobody's like you said, like nobody's asking you to treat this like it's groundbreaking. It's just like, it's just like it's a comfort music almost at this point, that it's just so like enjoyable and upbeat and loud. It's just, it's just great. I don't know.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you want a perfect 80s rock experience, Whitesnake 1987 is essential listening. Like it's a pillar. If 80s rock was a temple, this is one of the pillars at the entrance.
Yeah. And for me, like it avoids being cheesy. Which a lot of like albums that I love from around the time, you can point it and go, that's like, Poison. Poison is pretty cheesy, but fun as hell.
Poison or cheese personified.
But this one has enough big rock sound to it. And David Coverdale's vocal delivery, it just comes across as really cool. So I think that's probably another reason why it really works for me, because it's like benefiting from this musical trend that was going on at the time, but also kind of delivering it in like a classy way, I guess. So anyway, but Is This Love is just like one of those songs that's just like, it's I don't know what it's so perfect.
Yeah.
For the longest time when I was, a little bit younger, I would forget that it was a Whitesnake song, because it just felt like such a cool, just like pop rock song.
Yeah.
But then I started to really, pay attention to all this music, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a fucking Whitesnake song. Anyway.
Something I can't believe we haven't talked about yet as well is that middle section in Still of the Night. That is one of the coolest.
No. That whole thing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of structured like what's it called? It's structured a little bit like Whole Lot of Love. It's riffy, and then we have this like middle section, where there's this mysterious aura happening.
But you don't have some guy going baby, or whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
But
ride cymbals and coming.
I've always thought that the structure of Still of the Night is amazing because of the way that it starts with like the starting and stopping with just David's vocals, but then like. There's not really a chorus.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there is. I think technically you could say there's a chorus. But, like, for me, the chorus of the song, like, the way that it builds up to the end with the Still of the Night, Still of the Night, still, that whole part, it's almost like the song is building and rising, like, even in the chord progression. So every time I hear it, I go, this is just fantastic songwriting where it starts and where it ends is a fucking journey in what, like 5 minutes? Is it a 5-minute song maybe?
It's actually nearly 7 minutes long. But
doesn't matter. It's like that is
not a second of it wasted.
No, that is a song that earns its length. It's like every single time I hear it, I'm like, this is just like a master class in rock song writing. Just the journey that it takes you on and how memorable it is.
We've talked about cool album art. Have you ever seen the cover art for the Still of the Night single?
No.
It's really cool. Check it out. I've just sent it to you.
Maybe I have, but
the Whitesnake circle is the moon.
Oh. Yeah, everybody.
I always loved that as well.
That song's great. Honestly, like out of the singles off of this album, Here I Go Again is my least favorite of the singles. And maybe that's because it's a little bit overplayed, but that's like an anthem of a fucking song. But like, still, the Night is like, I would go on record and say, like, as much as I love Is This Love, that's kind of an anomaly. Still of the Night, it to me is the best Whitesnake song.
I would go as far as to say, and this is high praise, I know, but I feel like it's a similar situation. I think of Still of the Night as the Bohemian Rhapsody of 80s rock. Like,
sure,
there are so many different changes, sections that don't repeat.
Yep.
You know, once they've shown up, you know, there are parts that come back, like the but like you say, the way the song builds,
yes,
it's fantastic. Like, God,
because honestly, like the beginning of the song is so memorable that every time I hear it, I'm already like into the song, but just that once it gets into that chord progression at the end, that that whole thing, I'm just like, oh my God! Now it's at this part of the song.
Yeah.
It's just that song should get a lot more praise. But yeah, it is kind of like I mean it's like the way that Bohemian Rhapsody kind of builds, but I mean it's probably blasphemous to say, but I'd rather listen to Still of the Night over Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm in the same.
And I love Queen, but
no, there is just something about Still of the Night. I love Still of the Night.
Yeah. Anyway, hold on. There we go. We finished Whitesnake. Man, we fucking I thought this one for sure was gonna
we did it! Yeah, we did it! Yeah, we did it!
I thought this one was gonna be well over 2 hours, but we really stuck to our guns on this one.
Damn.
Or whatever you call it. We focused our guns, or whatever the fuck the saying is.
The guns were focused.
So that's Whitesnake, everybody. David Coverdale's Whitesnake.
Whitesnake. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There was and maybe I'm misremembering something. Hold on, let me look this up. 80s Whitesnake MTV contest. I don't know why I remember there being one that had a funny name. No, I don't know.
Do you want a free copy of the album? Send in photos of your Whitesnake, and whoever's is the longest gets the album.
I don't remember what it was, but I just remember there being some sort of contest, and I just thought it was funny, the name of it or how they were presenting it. I don't remember. It was on an old episode of Headbangers Ball, which they played Whitesnake quite a bit at the beginning of Headbangers Ball. That's another thing that's really fun. I harp on about the same shit all the time, but those people that start saying shit like Headbangers Ball was great until they started playing all the hair metal music, and I'm just like, that you mean episode 1? Episode number 1?
Jesus Christ. What version of the show were they fucking watching, man? It was always there.
There's rose-colored glasses about all that shit, but like episode number 1, which was hosted by Motorhead, they're already playing the hair metal stuff.
Yeah. Hair metal was the established status quo sound by the time the...
Well, I mean, I think the only reason they started to play more of those kind of videos is because of the existence of Headbangers Ball, more bands were making more of those videos, and so that just became a thing. But like, Headbangers Ball wasn't Slayer from day one. It was not. But I mean, once again, I'm just that one of those weirdos that I was enjoying all of that music, and I still think it's silly when people are just like, we didn't like the Winger. I'm just like, well, I mean, I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs that are smooth as hell, that fucking heading for a heartbreak, is that what it's called?
Oh,
heading for a heart. Yeah, that is amazing. We haven't done Winger yet, have we?
God damn, we have been neglecting the W bands. Goodness me.
Well, we did. No, we didn't do Great White or White Lion. Fuck.
Damn,
White Lion needs to be done at some point because that fucking band ruled.
Yeah, hang on, White Lion only have like 4 or 5 albums, right? White Lion.
Yeah.
White Lion.
Yeah.
Lion band, not the actual White Lion. God, no, not White Lies, White Lion.
White Lion, Whitesnake.
There we go.
Everything's white. Why is everything got to be white?
There are a few people that do think that. Not us. So, no. Where are we at? Oh, okay. I see. Right. We've got Fight to Survive, Pride, Big Game, Main Attraction, and then in 2008, there was another one called Return of the Pride.
But I don't think that we probably will have to include that, but now I'm curious. White Lion. Sorry guys, this is the boring ending of this episode. Where, they did the same thing to me. Are you trying to look for the animal White Lion? No, why would I want to do that? I don't care about animals.
Dumb cat. I don't want to look at that. Show me the albums. What do we got here? Yeah, so Mike Tramp. Was it? It's the only studio album in the new lineup which still features original lead singer Mike Tramp. Okay.
Yeah. Because, I mean, look.
Hang on. It says here in the background and recording, it says the album is a sequel to the band's 1987 album Pride. In what way can it be a sequel to Pride unless
the same way that Jeff Tate is putting out another Operation Mindcrime?
Operation Mindcrime 7.
Here's the thing, though.
A Quest for Peace.
But you're not wrong, though. It's okay. It's like I know it's not as iconic, but White Lion without Vito Bratta on guitar is like Van Halen without Eddie Van Halen on guitar for me.
Yeah.
The specific combination of Mike Tramp and Vito made that band cool for me.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though. There may be people that really like, because Mike Tramp was I told you he was in like a heavier rock band.
Yeah, Freak of Nature, was it?
Yeah, Freak of Nature. That actually was pretty good. So anyway, sorry. So we're done with White Lion, and I don't know where we're going to go next because I ended up. What did I say?
You said White Lion.
Sorry.
What the fuck?
Sorry.
just fired off.
I hate it when I get stuff wrong. So I just hit some fucking buttons.
I could see the intrusive thought on your face. I literally saw the thought enter the chamber and leave the barrel. Like, goddamn.
Jesus Christ.
I just witnessed ADHD.
I do that all the time, though, where I'll just get a different name in my brain and I'll be talking about something and I'm like, did you mean this? Yeah, yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I've compiled a list of bands for us to tackle.
Okay.
That's why I'm not going to tell anybody what we're doing next, because after this episode is over, I'll send you said list and see if you're cool with this.
Cool.
Because we've been talking about some bands, and we both kind of went through and we're looking at names that popped out like, ooh, I would like to do that one soon. And we kind of, I feel like we could refine our upcoming list to be more interesting for us. Like, we'll be more excited to do some of these.
Totally.
Because while there are people out there that are still like, when are you going to do Overkill? I'm like, yeah, we're going to get to Overkill. But like, we
got to dangle some carrots in front of you or you'll.
Yeah. We've done like every other like really legendary, well-known classic thrash band now.
I think, yeah.
So we can't just knock out Overkill now. We have to give them some space.
They have to wait.
Anyway, so we'll come back with some kind of band. And you're going to like it. And if not, we're going to make you like it. Anyway, probably not. But it's but that's the end of this. This whole I felt very awkward this whole episode with like my pacing. Sometimes I feel like I'm a really good, like almost like a conductor in our episodes, where I keep them flowing in a certain way, even with our diverging topics or whatever. But this one, I feel like I was just on autopilot. I don't know what it is.
Hold on, there's a fly in here. Okay, it's dead.
That was amazing. Sorry, podcast people, but he pulled out a small plastic rifle that actually has real what do you call those?
If any
shells.
if any insects are thinking of infiltrating the Eddie Sparxx studio, Eddie is packing.
All right. Is that is that to kill insects?
No, it's just a toy gun that makes a gun sound when you fire it off.
They do
shells.
sell these guns that are intended to kill like flies and stuff. And I've always wanted to get one. Anyway, okay.
I want to get one of those fully automatic water guns you can get now. Those look awesome. Like, you know, I really want one.
Yeah, I don't ever go outside, so there's no point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was gonna set myself up in like kind of a sniper nest and just like terrorize the public.
Nice.
With a water gun.
Water gun.
Yeah.
Water gun. Anyway, all right. So that's it for this episode of Cranked and Ranked. See, I didn't even do the Cranked and Ranked intro at the beginning. That's how like off I was today. But we're gonna do the closing in the correct way, which is me throwing it over to Eddie Sparxx to take us out.
Later down. Cranked and ranked, cranked and ranked, cranked and ranked.